Intentions, where the balanced fun hoes go for spiritual enlightenment while still being a little risque.
Welcome back to Risky Intentions. It's your girl Jordy.
And it's your girl Cece.
What's up, y'all?
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
And we're back.
I
love this being next to you setup.
I know. You're getting to rub shoulders. Yeah. Let's get into our affirmations this week.
Let's jump right into it. My affirmation is I am free. Mm-hmm. And I picked that as my affirmation because I want to choose freedom. Mm-hmm. Freedom is a choice, and just being mindful of that. I know our biggest prison is in our minds.
Right.
A lot of times when we can't do something or can't reach a goal or anything of that nature, it's usually just a stop in our mind, mm-hmm. rather than actually making it happen. Mm-hmm. And I just want to live freely and openly, and
yeah.
So that's my affirmation.
I think when you think freedom, right, to truly be free, right, mm-hmm. of societal norms, cultural norms, your family norms, just things in your head that you have kind of agreements that you have set as truth in your head of oh my God, this is what it means to be successful. This is what it means to be whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I think when you can genuinely really be free in your spirit, in your soul of I'm free. I don't think most people would consider themselves free.
Oh, yeah. No.
If you have to wake up and report to a job every day, you're not free.
But that's a mentality I have to go to this job, then I'm not free. No, I am free. And you also have the free will to change that. Yeah. If you feel like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is not freeing, mm-hmm. you might need to switch some of that up. And I notice right now in my own schedule, there's some things that I need to make space for or get rid of to seek more freedom overall. So we'll see. We'll see how free I am this week.
Affirm it, honey. My affirmation this week is that I am forgiving myself for viewing someone else's lack of reciprocation as a challenge to convince them of my self-worth.
Ooh, say that again. Come on, Jay.
I forgive myself for viewing someone else's lack of reciprocation as a challenge to convince myself, to convince them of my self-worth.
Because you are already worthy.
Yeah, I think that's that's a thing, when you are an approval-seeking, people-pleasing kind of person.
Or even just liking someone, you kind of like me back.
Yeah, like me back. And it's almost that pick-me vibe, which is so ugly.
Yeah, it's not where you want to be.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we think that because things haven't worked out in our life exactly how we see it being planned and shaped, and I think that sometimes we think that things won't be manifested for us, and we have to almost settle in a sense. Not even settle, but just I guess, yeah, it is settling. What if I don't
find anything better than this, or?
Yeah, or also just well, I have to change the way that I move in order to be accepted by others.
For sure. I think a lot of people don't move in their truth or how they really would like to because they want to be accepted by whoever else.
Yeah, on someone else's. And I think naturally, it does come with dating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not reciprocating, let me pour more. Oh, you're not reciprocating, let me do more. Let me show you that I'm that I'm worthy, that I'm cool. And it's just
cool.
it's just it's fuck that noise. And it's,
if you don't see it, you don't see it, and I'm not gonna make you see it.
Yeah.
But also, don't slide this way later on when you see.
Don't try to bend the fucking corner.
Don't bend the corner,
because you can't. Ain't no bending corners over here. Once you you're in the rear view now.
Yeah.
And I feel I don't think that I'm a person that allows people to bend corners often.
You don't. That's one thing I will say. Once you shut something down, it's shut down.
In my head,
book closed.
Once in my head, if I've discovered that you're not for me, or this isn't happening, then it's like yeah, I'm very black and white in that sense.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Cut them off. Cut that noise off.
It ain't nothing to cut
if
that.
It's not giving you any reciprocity.
Yeah.
You don't need it. And you should forgive yourself for viewing things that way. I think that's really important to like realize like you are not your mistake, like, and forgive yourself for making whatever mistake or shifting differently for someone else.
But also just like reciprocity is huge, right? Mm-hmm. And like relationships, any relationship that's not mutually beneficial or mutually reciprocated in a way that you feel like you're being heard and seen and protected and comfortable, it's probably not one that is going to...
It's not going to be fulfilling in the long run.
Yeah.
Should probably cut it off ASAP. I love it.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
What's the tea?
What's that tea?
It's some iced tea this week, but it's okay.
This is very lukewarm tea.
It is, but also I feel like very relatable. I think a lot of people were into the show Insecure. And they're...
R.I.P. I'm so sad. Can I just tell you, I don't think I've felt more connected to a show. Probably Girlfriends, but I was also younger. So this was like a coming of age that I was in the time, like it made sense for me.
Yeah, it's like I saw parallel myself. To our lives right now. Yeah. So parallel.
And just so for the culture. You know what I mean?
For the culture as a whole, but I know specifically for everybody who lives in LA or grew up in LA or, has moved to LA can definitely relate to a lot of the little cute little undertones. And there are a lot of the spots they shoot at. Yeah. I know it's going to be an amazing season. The way everything's been shot has just been so beautiful. Like the score, the writing, just the way they shoot things, the cinematography overall, like just so much beautiful excellence.
There's so much goodness in it. And I think that's what I think that Issa did a really great job of inspiring people, like making people feel inspired. Like it made me want to like pursue writing. It made me want to pursue, like, not that I didn't already before, but it just kind of further affirmed it of like, wow, I have a space and a platform that's like there's an audience for what I want to do.
Definitely creating more of an audience and inspiring, but I think it's beautiful how many
like representation
Black writers and
the staff, the entire
people
crew,
that she brought
the entire crew,
to really like make this happen.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice to see a show representing young Black women and men, and not in a struggle,
like awkwardly, authentically themselves.
Yes, and not in jail or in slavery or getting beat on by their baby daddies. Like just a wholesome,
so relatable. It was
normal life.
And you know what's so crazy? I remember having like one particular white coworker. Shout out to my girl Care, but she...
I thought she was gonna say something way left, like, and let me tell you about this bitch.
No, but she was just like, I remember being, I work in entertainment, and like, oh my God, you watch Insecure? Oh, I love that show. And it's like, for someone else to see themselves of another race and to still feel seen and like understand those underlying like themes and tones that like typically when it's just like, it's so intersectional.
So funny.
There was
so many emotions, really. It's like funny, but also there's moments where you're like, hold on, is this really happening?
There was an episode that Natasha Rothwell did. I don't know are you like diehard Insecure fan?
Yeah, I don't. Okay. But also I won't know most people by their names.
Natasha's like the
cute funny one.
She's the one that's hilarious. The best friend that's hilarious one.
The one that like faked the British accent in the
episode.
And
That's Natasha. Okay, so she produced the episode, or she directed the episode where Issa in this last season, where they went on the art walk.
Okay.
Her and Lawrence. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but literally, start to finish, I watched that episode with the biggest grin on my face. I was just so happy. It was such a beautiful episode, and it was just like, I was so giddy because I had grew to love these characters like they were my best friends. Yes. And it was like so invested in a show. That doesn't happen often. And I think it was because of the representation, because of the inclusivity, because of like feeling so tied to these characters.
Just the layers of everything was...
Oh my God. I was literally so like, just smile. Like the entire time, the biggest Kool-Aid grin, my chin, like my cheeks were hurting because it was just like, I'm so indebted. I'm so, I'm in. I felt like I was Issa.
Yeah. Issa made you feel like her.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. It's like really related to everyone. Or like her and Molly's falling out. It's like we've all had a situation with
the best friend. Yeah. That just, it's growing apart. We've all had that. There was so many, or just like cheating with the boyfriend and like, oh, but this, and you just want it to work, and I can go on all
No, seriously, I'm really excited. We can literally
make this podcast Insecure, like all about
the whole
Insecure.
Episode?
Because...
we could make a whole episode about Insecure.
Oh, easily.
We won't do that to y'all, though.
Unless you want us to.
So, leave in the comments if you would like to do like Insecure recap or how we cried our eyes out. Maybe at the end. Maybe at the season finale we can like bring it back.
Yeah,
and talk about
I think it'll be good timing too. Like with us. That'll be cool.
Ooh, okay, fun. Ideas on the fly.
I'm glad that you guys are part of this creative process with us.
No, more than y'all know.
Yeah, I honestly too, one thing that we really want to start incorporating into the podcast is like some sort of advice or some sort of like what would risky intention
or ask us a question if you're going through something and you're not sure what to do, if you had an issue with a family member.
The sky is the limit, truly.
Friendships, don't just think relationships, like boyfriend-girlfriend situation, but really anything that you're trying to sort out or have a question about, we would love to chime in.
Yeah, please.
So
we're still kind of fleshing that out, but send us DMs, or we can also link our email account.
Yeah, I guess I'll put our email in our bio.
Yeah.
So email, DM,
however you feel comfortable.
Especially if you want to stay anonymous.
Yeah.
And I think once a week we'll post on our story, and you can drop questions in there. But I know that has like a certain amount of characters that you can put in there. So if it's like a cute, quick question, drop it in there.
If
you got to give us some context, tell us the backstory
and the front story,
then go ahead and just leave it in the DMs and we'll leave it anonymous. So won't put y'all on blast unless you want us to.
Unless you want us to put you on Front Street and
pull up.
Then we won't do that.
But let's get into our Trife life, which I think is actually going to be our last Trife life. Because
I think we're parting ways with Trife life, y'all.
As much as we like talking about messy stuff, I think that's just not the context of what we're really trying to do here, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really align with our bigger picture, you know? I think so much of what we're trying to do is like intentionality, keep things positive and light. We don't want to talk about all the trifling shit that you hoes be doing.
Because some trifling things be happening.
But we don't want to focus on it.
Let this be a word as our last Trife life. Because I wanted to talk about something that's happened, I'm sure, to all of us.
Break it down for it to forever be broken.
Reasons. Sorry. And ain't no reason, but it happens. So I wanted to talk about mostly men commenting on women's appearance.
Oof.
And this whole thing kind of just stemmed from a friend going on a date, and it was a Tinder date. They met on an app. And then during the date, well, like off the bat, not even during, like right away, the guy's like, oh, your hair's pulled back. Like, has an issue about it.
Oh my God.
Excuse me, in my ponytail.
Right. That's raggedy.
And he was like, yeah, in all your pictures, your hair is down. I just think it's way more flattering.
Who asked you? Number one, who asked?
Before the drinks even came out.
You know what's so funny? That kind of, and it's like such a, I'm sorry to digress, but it reminds me of, I don't know if you watched The Hills.
I did.
Okay, so there was a guy, Justin, on the show.
Justin Bobby?
No, that was on Andrea or whatever her name was. Aubrey. That was Aubrey's guy.
Yeah.
No, this was a guy. Justin dated Lo, LC, and then he also dated this girl, Jessica, who was so stupid. She knew that there was something going on, but she was just raggedy. So I guess it's fitting with Trife Life. Anyways, I remember they're on a date, and I remember this, like, young, like, in high school.
Throwback show.
And she starts to put her hair in a ponytail, and he was like, don't put your hair up. And she just, like, lets it. And I'm just like, I've never been one for, like, men telling me what to do, what to wear, any of it. Like, I was raised by strong women that's like, you're not gonna tell me or police me in the way that I look. I just feel like I don't tell men how to be men, and I don't think it's a men's place to tell me how I should be a woman.
And that's kind of where I was going with this whole thing, because I'm like, you have never been in a woman's experience, so how could you even speak on how a woman should look, or
it's
especially when it comes to
low
like
vibrations,
body stuff or appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're like a chauvinistic kind of guy and you feel like, oh, she needs to be in the house cooking and cleaning and whatever the fuck. That's a whole nother discussion. But if you feel like you can interject on the way a woman dresses, like, if you're just not into that, you're not into that, and you could just leave it right there. But
or the same thing with men saying, like, oh, you look so much better without makeup.
That one pisses me off more than anything in the world.
Please.
Because you think I put this glitter cut crease, contoured, and highlight to the gods for your stupid ass to notice? No, fool. I like it.
Me.
And it especially pisses me off because I'm a makeup artist, for those of y'all don't know. So it's like, this is my art. This is my craft. Like, this is not just because I want you to think I look good.
But furthermore, I don't feel like so comfortable to interject your opinions of how I should look onto me. It's just not your place.
It's not your place.
It's not your place.
I think it's tacky.
It's
tacky. It's very tasteless.
It's very tasteless.
And it's just not your place. Like, God. I think if someone looks crazy,
listen, if I got something in my teeth,
like, oh, you got some, and it's also delivery, or if, like, how you say things.
Yeah, if my cut crease is like down here, please say something to me, because
if my eyeshadow is on my lips, maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe say something. But I just feel like it's such a sensitive thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go around telling men, like, oh, yeah, you should probably, like, I guess there's certain things, right? Like, don't be sagging. Or, like...
Oh, don't be sagging. I definitely dated somebody that I had to tell them all the time. But pull your pants up.
Do you feel like you've ever, like, really interject? Like, I'm so much of, like, if you ask for my preference or, like, what I like, okay. But, like, the unsolicited opinion, maybe not. Like, if it's like, oh, do you like my hair? And you have, like, I don't know, little snakes or something coming down.
Not the Medusa.
Maybe.
The Medusa.
Maybe, like, I might give you my opinion of, like, oh, I like your hair as a fade.
If you're asking, but just, like, telling
unsolicited opinion. Yeah. If you like it, I love
dating.
It. If you like it, if you like it, I love it.
If we're in a relationship, we could talk about some things, right?
Sure.
But again, if I'm asking, or, like, we're on the subject of, and also, like, your delivery matters.
Delivery is
dating,
everything.
Don't tell me how you want my hair, how you want my makeup, what you want me to wear. I remember someone commenting. I had been on a few dates with them, and they had mentioned, like, oh, you, like, wear pants a lot. Like, yeah. You want me to wear a fucking mini skirt? Like, where are we going? You want me to put a dress on?
Take me to a place where I can put on a motherfucking dress.
Take me somewhere.
Put that fucking dress on.
Actually, he did end up taking me somewhere I could have put a dress on. But did I? No.
I can picture you with.
That's my prerogative. I put a dress on when I want to put a dress on. Which is
don't do that.
Rare occasion.
Don't do that. It's raggedy.
It's so raggedy. And don't do that. Yeah. For you men out here listening, if you got a girl, just tell her she looks good, okay?
Thank you.
You look good.
You look good, girl.
Because we're
Good
already
compliment.
Fragile and, like, sensitive creatures.
Yeah.
So just, be mindful, unless, again, she looks, like, completely fucking crazy.
Which also, it's like, I think there's just a tasteful way of delivery. Of, like, hey, babe, have you ever thought about, like, or maybe, like, I really love your hair. Like, I love your hair.
Tell us the opposite. I love... Her hair's up and you like it down. Babe, I really love when you wear your hair down. Can you wear your hair down for me next time?
totally different conversation.
Okay, babe.
It's all about delivery,
now
honey.
I want to wear my hair down all of a sudden.
Right.
But when you're just like, oh, why's your hair like that? Now you're going to see this bun the rest of the week.
Right.
Out of spite.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Let's get into our cocktail. Oh, first, if you see a drink, take a drink. Salud.
Sorry. I was already there.
Yeah, I know. You was...
I do drink. I noticed in the last episode, I was like, I have my cup in my hand very often.
Me too, but that's fine. That's what we're doing here. We're getting risky and intentional.
Hello.
What the heck?
Let's talk about this cocktail, baby. So this week, we are just talking about some welcoming, just, I guess, bedroom etiquette, you know, like a little what's norm, what you like, and also welcoming, you know, energies into your bedroom.
Other energies into the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I think we both can speak from some very different sides, so I think that's exciting.
Right.
I think until recently, I was like all about like a threesome, let's go. A sex club, let's do it. And not until I've been dating somebody recently, and I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm.
You got a little selfie with it?
Yeah. Threesome, that's out, never happening, no.
Well, listen, I feel like I've never had a threesome. I guess I'm just like...
Gasp! You've never had a threesome?
No.
Jay, you have to have a threesome.
Listen, I feel like I'm open to it. I would never do it with someone that I really like rocked with.
That's what we're gonna talk about, yeah. And of course.
I feel like if it's someone that I'm just having fun with, yeah, okay, let's have fun. But I feel like
I don't see you in my future, so right now this fun time is okay.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's someone that I really like, really, really, really F with, then it's kind of like, I don't know if I would want to see you in that light or like doing something with someone else, because it's gonna be a mental picture in my head.
Yeah, like you're mine.
You're mine. You don't need nobody else. I'm woman enough for you.
You don't need no other body. No, for real, I think I've always felt differently though. I've always felt like just given the right other party to come in. So I've had threesomes before. I've been the third to somebody else's like situation, and I think that's a blast.
Well, like, that sounds like a little more like time. Okay, because then you're not. It's like all fun.
All fun. I mean, I've definitely have been another one.
Have you ever like awkward. Made someone else's situation like you blew their spot up kind of thing?
A little bit.
Just like now they're like, oh yeah, don't talk to Cece no more kind of thing.
It's not that they said don't talk to Cece anymore, but they're like, oh, you like her, like.
Well, yeah, I mean that's thing. And don't talk to Cece no more. And
it was unfortunate. It was the guy, and I think he felt that way because I didn't want to do anything with him. And I think he had never been like turned down and like already being in the act. And then I'm just like, no, I don't. I'm like, you go over there.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just not what I was on. I think with the other couple, I think it was great. They was into it. I was into it. You know, I tippy-toed out the room.
Yeah, because I'm sure that there's definitely a cue of like, okay.
I just felt like my party was over and they still were having a good time. I was like, you know what? They won't even notice I'm gone.
Right. I feel like I definitely am a person. I guess it's so interesting because I've always said like not with someone that I really rock with, right? Just, and maybe that's my naive speaking. But I also feel like in marriages, in whatever, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things. Like I feel like in a marriage, and I'm not married, so I guess I can't really speak too crazy about it, but I think whatever works for y'all, works for y'all.
I was just about to say, Will Smith said recently, and I can only go off of them because
it's Will Smith.
They're just kind of like
the blueprint
swingers.
Yeah. I think like, that they're like known swingers publicly as of late, but known swingers on the DL for a long time.
See, and I think I knew back when they were on the DL only
Through the grapevine.
Only through a back end grapevine kind of way, somebody who had like known them more personally. But you have to do what works for your relationship. If you know that the trust is there, and the communication is there, and that there's like not anything shady going on afterwards or to make it happen, like to manipulate a situation, then I think that's cool. That's fine.
See, that's my biggest fear, because I remember having a friend, young, that like her and her guy at the time, like they had children together and stuff, and like they had a threesome, and then she, like, after the threesome, she felt like, I guess he was, like, kind of texting her on the side, and, like, it was one of her friends, and...
You know,
and then it turned into a situation. I guess that's my biggest fear of, like, oh, if this is fun, and this is, like, in this consolidated place of, like, okay, cool, but at the point where it's, like, it's something else, or extramarital, or, you know, and then it's just shady, then I'm not into that.
And that's a very easy line to cross. I know with me, I had an ex that, like, we had a threesome. It was cool, had a great time. But then later on afterwards, they started, like, moving kind of sneaky and, like, trying to manipulate things to happen again. And they weren't honest beforehand that they had actually slept with this person before we at all. So that kind of, you know, put a weird taste in my mouth. So then we didn't have threesomes no more. When I think we absolutely could have kept having, you know.
Had it been a safe space that was just, like, clear communication.
Yeah, if that first time would have been open and honest, I could have totally seen us going to sex clubs and, like, really letting that be a thing. But now I feel totally different. Because her, no. Yeah.
And that's how I am. I'm kind of just, like, selfish and, like, I just don't. I don't know.
I just think the way
it would just have to be someone that I don't like. I don't want to interact with that person again. That person is cut off. Like, we don't know. One and done.
And
I don't know. Or maybe like, just like it's someone that you know that like that's just the homie and you don't want her. Because at the point where it's an emotional thing of like you're lusting and no.
I don't know. I've tried to think of it in several different ways. Like, okay, if it was a guy and I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want no guy. Like, I don't want to see. Okay. I take that back, because in a sick way, in, like, the back of my mind, I do want to see her have sex with a guy, but I don't think it could ever happen, because I would feel some type of way afterwards. Like, a kinky...
So is it a good thing, or is it a bad thing? Do you think threesomes will keep your relationship strong, or is it going to be, like, deter you?
Both. Okay. It depends on you and your person and the trust and the communication. Only.
Did you watch You?
Yes.
And they just recently, like, this past season had, like, the whole thing of, like...
swinging and all that.
And the safe word. Do you know what's so funny about the safe word? So, like, my mom used to... Did you guys ever...
Wait, what? Shay, what's happening right now?
Stop it. Did you ever have, like... Did your mom ever tell you as a kid, like, if something happens and I can't make it to you and I have to send somebody to you, this is our safe word? No?
No. But they should have.
Yeah, so my mom, maybe because we had a bunch of kids, she worked in, like, mental health services with bad kids.
Yeah, your mom
crazy situations.
Knows.
So, like, I remember our word was Hakuna Matata.
I'm weak. So I know you were watching that episode dying. And if for those of you who haven't got there in you, just completely skip this part.
Right. Sorry.
Whoops. That's
spoiler alert.
Comedy.
Yeah, it was so funny to me because it was just like, oh wow.
Did you start cracking up like as soon as he said it?
I literally died, and I just shared that story with someone else of like, oh, your parents didn't do that? Like, yeah, our word.
I didn't know you needed a safe word with your parents.
Well, it's just like if it's someone you don't know that I'm like this person is cool and to trust it. That's like this is our safe word.
That's dope. I'm actually gonna put that in my parenting notebook for when I have babies. We will have a safe word. Oh my gosh, you just blew my mind right now.
Sorry.
But yeah, overall, I think threesomes are cool. Can be so much fun. I think it's something everyone should experience at least once.
Yeah, I feel like I'm game
to scout
for
you
it.
A couple.
I'm game for it.
A cute ass couple.
But I definitely I don't know if I could do it with someone that like I'm really rocking with. But maybe if it's someone that's just, like, fun and whatever.
I think you should be a third.
I think it's such a process of, like, you know, like, finding someone. Like, it seems so methodic.
It's a lot easier than you think.
Okay. Good to know.
I think
Good to know.
we should find you a couple. I think it'd be better for you to be
like a third.
The
but
addition to somebody else's situation, let them deal with the mess afterward. You can bounce out, and it's all good.
Yeah. Let's get into our topic this week.
Cause I ain't saying she a gold digger,
but she ain't messing with no.
And I think we wanted to just talk about this whole
weak.
goal. I'm fucking weak, Jay. If you don't knock it off over here.
I'm sorry. It's the tequila. It's the tequila.
Oh, it's a little warm in here.
So this week we are going to be talking about goal digging. And versus gold digging, I guess. And so the term
I think digging into the misconception
of gold digging.
That we're
and also,
gold digging out here.
Especially like women of color, black women, like I feel like it's such a theme that comes across of like, oh, black women only will date you if you have money.
And it's like,
where the money at? Where the money at?
Majority of y'all don't really got it like that.
Y'all don't have no money.
Calm down.
Where the money? Where the money at?
Where?
Ching, 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 got a money tree.
And every time it ting,
money come to me.
It all comes in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me.
Ching, ching, ching.
But,
so the term of gold digging refers to a woman, I guess, or a man, who seeks his or her life and the lives of those around them, just kind of as like an opportunist, I guess. They don't use people or personal material gain. In fact, they surround themselves with other gold digger.
So basically someone who's just trying to get to their next step in life. So they really only try to deal with the people around them
that are on the same level.
Them get to that next step.
Yeah, like exactly.
You know, I feel like a lot of people who are not from LA and come to LA end up on that wave. Yeah. And then the more people who come to LA meet those people, and they're like, wow, everyone here just wants to get on or be an opportunist. So then they're like, oh, everyone in LA is fake and shady. And
it's usually not the people from LA that are like that. It's usually the folks that have transplanted here.
So I think the people from LA are either on or just not.
But also, I feel like, listen, I think so much with gold digging is like almost like you want to meet people that are goal oriented, minded like you, right? So like for me, I feel like with dating, and I guess maybe it's a thing where I'm like, I don't want to date a guy that's at a certain level. Like, I intentionally like to date people that are very ambitious, very, like, intellectually stimulating for me. That sounds so basic.
It's, you know what? But it's lacking, I think, a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't think it's gold digging to date someone that's like, oh, you have a car in your own place,
like you want someone stable.
Career. That's very basic, like subpar level.
Like I just want you,
or just to meet me where I'm at. Obviously, you go on and it's like I want someone that's like can teach me something or can put me on to something that. You know what I mean? Naturally. It's like, I don't think that makes me a gold digger.
That doesn't make you a gold digger.
But I think that it's just like
that's your standard.
I want you to meet me where I'm at. And if I'm coming to the table with the whole table, this my table.
I brought the table.
I brought the table.
What are you going to put on it? Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I don't think that makes you a gold digger. I think it's just like smart.
Well, it's like,
why would I subject myself to something lower than this standard?
Well, also, like you said, meeting you where you're at. Why wouldn't I want to date or deal with somebody who's kind of on the same level as me, on the same playing field, on the same page? You know, we might have some of the same wants and also the same complications. Like I might be able to come to you with my problems because you might understand them because you're on that level.
Capacity.
Yeah. And if you're not in that same, if you don't have that same bandwidth, then it's like I can't really even have those kind of conversations with you.
If you don't know the difference between there, and there, where, and where, then I feel like You know what I mean? Like, because people make it sound like, oh my God, it's so crazy, but it's genuinely like,
and
come on.
I feel like this conversation comes up so often because people really like to project this whole idea that, you know, and I think it's from a lot of, you know, Instagram strippers and or models or escorts.
Yeah. Of
who are
creating that norm of like, this is the norm.
Well, they're just loud and proud now, where I think, you know, let's trace back 10 years ago. If you were an escort or a stripper or
hush hush
or anything, no one knew. And no one was going to know. Unless they really, really got into your business. And now it's so glamorized that I think a lot of young girls or just like girls coming up are like, well, damn, I want a sugar daddy.
Where the money at?
Yeah, I want money. And that's also very valid. But I think very, very few are even touching that. That world at all. And a lot of times girls are not being mindful of what comes with that. You know, do you want to be a sugar baby?
Or
could you really have sex with an old man?
Not even. That's not
sorry. Whoops.
But also, I just mean like dealing with a man that is goal oriented, right? Because it's like they're not gonna have the time to just sit up and talk to you. They're probably working. They're probably like an ambitious man is not gonna just have the bandwidth of like, are you ready for that? Are you ready for a person that has other obligations that are not you, right? So I think so much of like this idea is kind of perpetuated with the music that we listen to. Like you think about city girls, like what's your net worth? Or you think about like band, like the stripper mentality, like bands make a dance, and it's like,
well, yeah. Well,
but you know what? Like
money would motivate me in many ways.
Can you help me? Can you add to?
And that's the thing. It's like...
But that doesn't have... like I think the idea of it having to be something negative of, like, wanting someone secure, financially secure, like, mentally secure.
Why is the standard... And that's just a standard. Why is the standard so...
Yeah.
So, like... What's the word I'm looking for? Not distracting, but so intimidating.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men are intimidated by this whole concept because they can't really rise to the occasion.
Yeah. And listen, I think the other thing with, like, especially talking about black women being gold diggers is, like, black women, like, I think the number of women that are with black men doesn't account for, like, there's the math.
Oh, statistically, how many?
The math does not math.
What is it? Like 80% or something of black men are not wealthy.
Right.
So
where do you think these gold diggers are coming from? Because we would show black ass, and it's like, I don't even mean to sound like that. That sounds awful. But
she's getting canceled by her old men.
Stop it. No, listen, honey.
Jay gonna have to go get a white man after this.
No, I'm not.
Black men gonna watch this and be like, oh, she can't
I want nothing more than a black king to come and make me submissive to him in all of what he's going on. I'm happy to do that. I would love to. I welcome it.
And she is taking applications.
But I feel like black women can't really be gold diggers because statistically, most black men aren't rich. You know what I mean? Statistically, black women are predominantly with black men in the largest growing group of college graduates and entrepreneurs. And we're pretty independent. Most black women are not married. We're not in relationships.
But are starting businesses or finishing their degrees or whatever else to sustain themselves. And one thing I do notice, culturally, I feel like black men and women are the only people who really have this conversation.
Right.
Where other cultures, and especially Middle Eastern culture, Asian culture,
it's almost like a hush-hush thing.
Well, it's not hush-hush. It's not, I don't think, a conversation because that the men know that that's what they're here for. Essentially, I think that's how they're raised. Yeah. That's just the community of things. It's like, sure, the woman is going to stay home and, you know, it's still just a very traditional cultural view. So the man is like, no, I'm here to provide for my woman. And I think that's beautiful. And I don't know where this line
We love us some providers, honey.
I think every man should be a provider.
Every man, yeah, absolutely. I don't feel like there's certain. I feel like it's just basic, at the bare minimum. You know what I mean? If I'm providing a healthy environment, if I'm providing home cooked meals, and it's I think too, it's like understanding what you bring to the table. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken where,
because if you're a chick that's just not doing shit, if you're just laid up all day, and you think somebody's just gonna come along
and take care of you
because you're cute,
honey,
because one thing, them looks will fade. If you don't have if you don't have a capacity to hold on to a man who has his own business or who has a degree, or
hold up, I don't want to hold on to no man. I want my man to hold on to me, because I'm a fucking catch.
Right. Exactly. So as a woman, if you're not a catch, I don't think a man's going to be looking at you twice.
Yeah. But you know what's so funny? I remember, like, dating a guy, digress again, but dating a guy that was very, like pretty wealthy, I guess you can say. Like, he was just very successful. And I remember having a conversation with my grandma, and I was young, and I was just like, yeah, and da-da-da, and she was just like, well, you know, most men want a woman that can meet them at that same level, or want a woman that at least has X, Y, and Z going for her.
Yeah.
That's like,
can at least help bring you to that level.
Yeah.
Without much work.
Because
like,
I think
you're already
so
on
many
your way
women
there.
Naturally listen, and I think that there are definitely cultural and like double standards that come into play, right? Because I feel like so many women just think like, oh, I just gotta have some fire ass pussy and
show up.
And just show up.
Let me get this body done.
And it's just kind of like, but are you pouring into your man? But are you like...
Because they have needs also.
Taking account for their mental health, their stability, and not even like the... And I don't even mean like the like masculine fragility of like, oh, let me take care of you. Like, no.
Well, I think with
I
any partner...
genuinely mean a partner that's going to push
I'm saying any partner, because even if I'm dating another woman, you need to be right there with me. I don't want to date a woman who
I have to take care of.
Who I have to wholeheartedly take care of, right? Yeah. And it's like, you know, I think any relationship at some point, you know, you may have to like help somebody out or hold them down in some sense, whatever that looks like. And I think what doesn't get talked about enough is it's always about the money. Yeah. And people are not, and monetary is very important, but also it's like, okay, maybe he does pay for all of this, but on the back end, you don't know what this woman is holding down for him. Like, you don't know what kind of mental...
And I think that is a thing of, like, you hear couples all the time talk about, like, my career had to take a back seat for X, Y, and Z. Or his career had to take a back seat for X, Y, and Z. Like, there's opportunities where, you know, the other person shines and you have to just be the supporter. You know what I mean? So... I think that it differs, and I think, like, being in a relationship has so many sacrifices and compromising that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And when you're genuinely in it for the right reasons, I feel like it's a beautiful thing.
And you're going to show up and show out regardless. Like, you're going to take care of each other because...
You love each other.
We love each other. We trust each other.
Simply off the notion that I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it more and more culture has made... money and relationships too
synonymous,
messy, yes, and it's just like.
Well, listen, I think that's so. I'm like, honey, because I think that like relationships, marriage, at the end of the day, it is a business.
It's a business transaction.
It's a business transaction,
if
and
you're
it
getting
should
married
make
for love,
sense. Well,
I
listen, there's nothing wrong with
take a deeper think of things. I mean, obviously, you want to. I
want to love you.
You should want to be in love, but.
No, bigger picture.
If you're just like, oh, let's get married because we're in love.
Yeah. There's an issue.
You should have several more conversations, and I think it should be number one. Financially, where we at?
Yeah. Well, there's so many conversations too of like.
And your credit score. What do you want? Big picture.
What is your credit score, honey? What is your credredit score? That's a big question.
People should, and it should be more comfortable to be talked about.
What are you comfortable with? Are you, you know, how are we going to devise this house? How are we going to, all of the
Question
things.
for you, Jane.
Okay.
You're moving in with your boyfriend.
Okay.
Does he pay all the rent? Or does he pay all the rent and you pay the bills? Or are you guys 50-50 on everything? And why?
I feel like the way that I was raised, like, you have to understand, I come up in, like, a very different day and age.
No. I want to know where you're at right now, your expectation, what you feel like is
so my expectation as a man, as a grown man, I feel like if I have to come half on my bills with you, if I have to pay my rent, why am I living with you? Like, I don't pay rent. I feel like if I'm out at dinner with you and the check comes, that ain't my business. That is not my business.
Unless
I don't even look at the bill.
I invited you on this date.
Listen, I don't think that there should be, like, of course, court your man, take care of your man.
Still date back.
I'm not saying that it's like, oh my God, I can never buy you a meal. But if the precedent is like, we 50-50, it's not. It's not. Not when you want home-cooked meals, not when you want your laundry folded and pressed.
And see, I think that's another thing that's not fair is...
Well, yeah.
Men want you to help provide, but then also want you to be a housewife in this day and age, and it's like...
The math is not mathing.
At this point, it's like, if you want me to be a provider also, then you need to hold it down in the home, too. And a lot of times, I see women doing both, and that's raggedy. A lot of times where the men's just showing up with the money. And it's like the lady is still working and cooking and cleaning and
I feel like
doing all the things.
I feel like within reason, right? I feel like there will be times, and I'm not saying like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a very reasonable person, and like the math has to math, right? If it's someone that I really rock with and it's like he's going through a hard time, okay, maybe that's a different conversation. But off the rip, yeah, no. Maybe I'll like do groceries and like a light bill or like an internet bill.
I feel like that's how it should be.
I'm not paying, yeah.
I feel like
and I'm giving you all of me. I'm like, if that's the case, I can live by myself. And I don't have no problem living by myself. Like, I don't have a problem.
I love living by myself.
I provide for myself very efficiently and well, and I don't have an issue with it. So why would I like subject myself to like, oh yeah, let's no. If you can't take all of this on, honey.
I know that was like a big thing in a past relationship is they wanted me to move in and like live with them. And I'm like, I think you want me to move in.
I'm not gonna be your roommate.
Almost, to just be your help. And because I can really hold shit down, and it's like,
no,
that's a responsibility.
And if you want me to, and I think that's a big thing too, right? Like, I remember living with a boyfriend in college, and like, I feel like
I learned so much more about you on this show. I am learning Jordan right here with you guys here.
But I remember he used to be very much so, like, he would get so offended if I took my wallet out for anything. And, like, I remember the flip side of it, like cleaning up his room and doing his dishes and, like, doing his laundry. Like, I wasn't okay with that. So I feel like I probably have a distorted way of looking at it. And maybe it was because I was in college and I was young and whatever.
You were young and didn't know better.
But also just, like, if I'm doing this, I want it to be with someone that I'm really, like, not that I wasn't at the time, like, thinking I was invested, but how's a way to say this? I feel like I don't want to be doing wife shit for something that's, like, that's not the situation.
Like, that's not where this is going. I think overall...
But we were young. We were fucking 21 years old. Like, it was like, I didn't need to be washing your laundry.
You're young. You do so many
thank you for paying all the bills and not asking me to pay any, like...
But do you feel like that helps set a standard for where you're at now?
Absolutely.
And it's good that you got a taste of that, because I think
absolutely.
A lot of women now don't even, like, have been in so many situations with, like, broke
the raggedy of the raggedy.
Even my own sister, like, I have to tell her all the time, like, you don't pay for anything.
No.
You don't even go reaching, if you reach in that purse.
But
if he invited you on this date and you reach in that purse.
My sister literally.
For more than a Mentos.
Right. My sister, I remember telling me, like, of just like, oh, well, you know, there's certain things that as you grow as a woman, like, what's the precedent? What's this? What's that? Whatever. And just like, you don't have no business in that bill.
If you're courting me right away,
business.
I'm not paying for anything.
Listen.
Yeah, no.
I think if you really like the person, I might bring you some food. I might.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do cutesy stuff, but I think at least the solid first 3 dates, if you are someone courting me, I'm not paying for anything. Yeah. If I invite you on a date,
that's different.
I invited you here. I got it.
Right. But do your due diligence.
But don't expect that all the time.
This is special occasion.
I don't know. I think society has ruined dating and relationships and money and the whole thing, and none of this shit is real. So definitely you gotta do what works for you, but I feel like people need to meet each other where they're at. Mm-hmm. If you want a baller, I think you need to show up at least with a baller mentality.
Or at least like have something going for you. Like come
you're on your way. Like,
you know,
give somebody something to
you
work
can't
with.
Be like homeless living with your mama and like I want a man with I want a man that makes $3 million a month. Like
no one's gonna save you. Like if you're sitting around waiting for somebody to save you, you're gonna be so miserable. Like because I've also been on the other side of that. That's the last thing I'm gonna say about this. Of allowing someone to completely 1000% take care of you and you have nothing to bring to the table, you will subject yourself to control and like a whole nother world that can jeopardize your happiness. Because you have nothing to bring, so you don't have any say. And I've definitely been in a situation before where someone was literally paying for all of my bills, all of my everything.
Where he at?
I should spin the block. I should probably spin the block.
Where he at? Because I've been looking for a sponsor.
Where he's at. Let me call him. But at the same time, it's like if I wanted to do anything extra or, you know, have fun with my girls, they made it very hard or would purposely be like, no, I'm not going to give you money for that, or petty. I'm going to give you exactly to the cent the dollar amount for your rent, nothing on top of that. And it's like I was appreciative at that time, but I was subject to that person's control, and that's
not a good place to be.
Not a cute place to be at all. So you
in
don't want
any
that,
relationship, don't.
You want to always be able to pack it up and dip on your own.
Pack it up.
And that's where I'm going to leave that one at, okay? Secure your own bag.
Let's get into our intentions this week. I think that we've digressed a bunch.
Be a gold digger, not a gold digger.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I want to do my intention first because I just like yours a lot, and
okay.
I want to like bounce into yours, so we'll do yours last because I feel like it's a little more heartfelt. But my intention is I intend to face all my challenges with a calm mind and conviction. I just want to have like a positive attitude, and I feel like I'm a positive person. I've noticed in this last week and a half, 2 weeks, being like not the most positive person, or kind of letting things that were challenging me like make me upset, or just kind of take control of my whole day rather than just accept them for what they are and just like move with ease and calm. And I notice a positive attitude towards adversity will really help you achieve your goals. So it's like when you're trying to reach a goal, roadblocks are going to come.
Right.
But if you approach those roadblocks as a learning lesson, or it's just a hump to get over, rather than harping in that one spot, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get to your destination.
Yeah.
So I think the faster you face them, the more successful you will be. And so I want to face my challenges calmly and with conviction.
Say it again for the people.
I want to face my challenges calmly and with conviction.
That's so deep, because I think that so often we go into things with like preconceived perceptions and like projections of like, this is going to go like this, right?
And then it doesn't.
And when it's almost like you experience trauma twice. Or, like, you experiences twice because you go through it once in your head of, like, oh, this is how this is going to go. Uh-huh. And it's not necessarily, it's like 10 times out of 10. You've already fantasized this experience. 10 times out of 10, it goes completely left and it's like, whoa, I just freaked out for nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, challenges that come up are going to come. And yes, there will be instances where you need to, like, go in with a clear mind and just, like, whatever.
Or things will just kind of, like, piss you off and bring you down.
Right.
But, like, let's not stay there.
Don't dwell in it. Don't live there. Don't live there. And I think that having a positive attitude is everything. That's the game-changing, like, factor of, like, I'm going into it without anything. I'm just going into it. I'm going to experience it. And I'm not going to have this, like, preconceived idea in my head of, like, it's going to end up this way. Because you don't know.
You don't know.
And it actually, like, if you go into it, like, damn,
I'm just going to handle what comes at me as it comes at me. A totally
different situation in a different, you know. Exactly. Just flow, honey.
Just going with the flow positively and calmly. Mm-hmm. What is your intention, Jay?
So, you know, I've been reading the 4 Agreements.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
I love that book. That's one of my favorite books. If you haven't read the 4 Agreements, read the 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
Life-changing, game-changer. I've been telling this one to read it. It is so good.
It's such an easy read. It's ridiculous that I have ADHD and we're going to leave it there. But my intention this week is to be impeccable with my word. I don't know which camera I'm at. This one or this one? Okay, so my intention this week is to be impeccable with my word. I think the way in the book that it describes the word is just like your ability, you know, obviously the 4 agreements, it's like the agreements that you've set in your mind, right?
Mm-hmm. And like, overall, like, what you give and take from society.
Exactly. So you can, and what others have given upon you from society. Like your parents you're a loudmouth, you're fat, you're this, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And it's an agreement in your head that you've set is like truth.
You've accepted it as true, and now it's a part of your reality, yeah.
So I think being impeccable with your word is something that so much of it goes to the fact of like how you speak about yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so much of it is about just like the agreements that you know about yourself. Like, I'm a lazy person. I am a procrastinator. Maybe not a lazy person, but I'm a procrastinator.
No, but if you continue to tell yourself you're a lazy person,
you're going to stay a lazy person. A lazy person.
I used to think I was lazy, and the way that I work now, I'm like, how could I ever think that?
Right. And two, it's like
no, you weren't lazy, you were depressed.
Almost also the things that you ever have like the imposter syndrome of like, or just like maybe like the rising sign of you of like, oh wow, this is how other people speak of you. You can go into a situation and it's like, oh my God, it's going to be so bad because I know that they're going to like think I'm an awful person because of your own projections that you put on yourself. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily anything of like the truth, because other people perceive you in a way that's like almost like, wow, this is what you think of me? Like,
girl,
you think
just
this
today,
of me? You know what I mean?
You telling me today about myself, I was like, Jay really thinks I'm like amazing?
But it's true. And I think being impeccable with your word, how you speak about yourself, how you speak about others, you know, essentially your word is your power to create. Mm-hmm.
We say this all the time.
To create.
Like what you say creates everything around you.
And it's coming from God. And so essentially one of the things that kind of stuck out to me with the book was just the power of the tongue. We talk about this all the time. But you have the power to create this beautiful abundance life within you, right? Mm-hmm. And you also have the power to just speak so ill and destroy, just like burn.
Literally casting little spells on each other all day long.
And I think that so much of that...
I think that's how they reference it in the book, and ever since I've thought of that, It's made me more mindful of how I speak about people.
Yeah.
What I say to people, like how I say things to people.
Yeah.
Because, you can really, like, distort someone's reality with just your words.
And you don't even think about it, because I think I read something recently about Courtney talking about, like, instead of saying about True, like, oh, you're so big, like, you're so tall, or whatever. And it's just, like, you don't know what little things. I tell people all the time, like, you shouldn't tell your kid, like, you're bad. Or you shouldn't tell your kid, like, if it's not positive affirmations, because you're going to constantly internalize those things of, like, I am bad. I am this.
A 3-year-old is going to remember eventually, like, they keep saying I'm bad, so I'm going to be bad.
Or I'm big. I'm a big girl. And it's like,
honey, I got body dysmorphia still because of things that were said
to you
when I was like 8.
And it's awful. And it's awful. So I think with the power of the tongue, the power of your word, the power of being impeccable with the things that you say, you can cast these spells truly against, like, good or bad. And I think that there's so much weight in that, right? Like, there's so much heaviness that comes with that. There's so much responsibility that comes with that. And especially the way that you talk to yourself. That was one of the biggest takeaways for me, was just like, wow, what am I pouring into me? Mm-hmm. What am I saying about myself? And the other thing that kind of stuck out to me was about gossiping. And it's been something that I've been conscious of in the past, but also just like, you have trauma friends. It's like, oh, that like misery likes company. Mm-hmm. And I think naturally it's easy to dwell on things. It's easy to talk shit. Mm-hmm. And it's
not
like,
realizing like how nasty it's really becoming. How nasty it's becoming,
but also that is a reflection of yourself.
Always.
And when it's like the thing of like when you're pointing at someone, like 3 people are pointing back at you. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it says so much about yourself. It says so much about the way you think about yourself and how you like value yourself. But also creating those healthy boundaries of if there are people that come into your world that are speaking ill, that are speaking gossip, like your ability to shut it down, your ability to not gossip and not speak poorly about yourself or with others. I think it all is like a factor within yourself. It says something about you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So just being impeccable with my word. Being very
impeccable with your word. Being very mindful and intentional with what
the things that you're saying. Because you never know what...
Some of y'all need to work on this one this week also.
And it's just like you never know what you're saying that is affecting others. Mm-hmm. You never know. Like, I have one of my best friends is pregnant right now. And I know that there have been times that I have interjected my opinions about, like, the way her baby daddy is or whatever. And it's just like, I never want to be a person that's interjecting myself in a way that is so detrimental to your baby, that is so detrimental to your family, your dynamic of your family. That's like, ooh, it was one of those things of like an aha moment, like, wow,
I should watch what I say just a little bit.
What is the long-term effects of what I'm saying to you and what I'm pouring into you?
Yeah.
Because it is important. And yeah, watch what you say. Watch what you say.
Watch what you say.
Watch what you say when it go to the business. So yeah, just speak life into the things around you.
Everything around you.
And especially like, I think when you're constantly moving in that place of positivity and light and love, good things will come to you because you're speaking good into the universe. And yeah, I guess, to pay into like what I was saying to you earlier, I feel like you've done such a great job at mastering.
Oh, mastering. Thank you.
At mastering being...
a master of disguise.
No, of being light. Because I feel like I really
work at it.
Can't think of any instances where you're just like talking shit about someone.
If I'm talking shit, I'm talking facts.
But it's also just like even times that you felt ill-willed or like someone was being ill towards you, And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. But you don't really dwell too much into
and,
it.
like, make it nasty.
It's like, and that is such a testament to you, friend.
This book changed my life. I'm not even joking.
It is such a testament to you and your person. And I just want to say that I'm proud of you and that
Don't you do that. Don't make me cry.
No, stop. But I love you so much. And I think that you are light and you just spread positivity. You really genuinely, intentionally spread positivity to people.
Every day.
And I think that I don't know if I give you enough flowers for it, but.
This is enough. My heart is warmed. So warm because sometimes I really just...
You forget about how far you've come until it's like, damn, I've really evolved.
Until I think of another time. And I did used to be really catty and really nasty.
Well, friend, I've never experienced
You never experienced me like that, and I thank God for that, because you get to meet me as this person.
And your children will meet you at this person, and your spouse will meet you at this person.
Like, I really used to be a mean girl. Like, oh, that's a cute shirt. And as soon as they walk away, like, that's the fuggliest fucking shirt I've ever seen.
Mean girl. But no, truly, like, pat yourself on the fucking back, because...
I will.
You're doing good, friend. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, and I admire you.
I'm proud of you for reading the book, because I know it's going to open up your mind for just cute little nuances to hold on to. Oh, see, that's what this is about. Being intentional. Each one teach one. Intentional.
Is that a word?
I meant intentional.
She's
I've had enough wine. Say that.
This has been a long episode.
It's regular.
This has been.
We'll be talking shit forever. But like always, please leave us a comment, a rating, a review.
Yeah, like,
drop
comment,
us a question,
subscribe. Because
we want to start doing those next week. Like, we want to answer your questions right here live.
If there's something that you have been dying and burning, or you just want to vent and be like having an
we will
open
read
ear,
it, and then we will give you our opinions, right?
Yeah. We would love that. So if you do that, and that's something that you're comfortable with, it could be totally anonymous. You can make a fake Gmail.
Fake name.
We are not going to out you. Please send us your questions, comments, and concerns, or just something that you feel like you want some feedback on.
Yeah, to get through or question about.
If it's like
whatever.
A friend that's like been doing some questionable things.
Anything too, like literally anything.
Anything. We will incorporate it.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.